Hi guys, this is Ren and Ronnie with my first post-play commentary on a game that a friend of mine played recently. The friend I'm talking about I met on Discord from Terraforming Mars. We know each other, and I witnessed a game where he was in an unwinnable condition when I entered the game, and he felt like he couldn't win the game due to the odds and due to the cards that his opponent drew. So I decided to take a look at his game, and first of all I checked his opponent. His opponent is, okay, there he is, Bubbles 78. He has only 48 games played and has 40 victories, which makes me think that he's probably on his second account here, and yeah, and he's probably already an expert on this game. 83% wins is definitely an expert rate of wins. So his opponent was pretty strong. The map they were playing on was Hollywood Hills. And let's check the replay here, jumping in. This is Threat Pacifist's starting hand here. And we have, first of all, we have to check what base conservation projects are there. There is, what's that, habitat diversifier or diversity. Then we got predators, and we got Asia. Our hand is having 2 predators, which is good, but one of them needs animals upgraded. The rest of our hand is pretty weak. We have 2 different habitats from our animals, which is okay. So I think that these predators are mandatory to pick. It's been a while that I've been doing videos in English, so don't mind me if I struggle to find the right vocabulary to make it work. But the size of the enclosure, exactly, enclosure, that was the word I was looking for, is a bit tricky, and it needs to be on water and on stone. So you probably have it right here at the right side, where you can get the extra reputation from the board, and we probably should start with a single. We should probably start to play a single enclosure here, or we should aim to even do petting zoo animal strategy, which is nice on this map because you can do. We already have building on row 3 here. So we can already build this enclosure, and we can build it on the 5 spot here, and we can grab a card if a good card comes up. And then we have the native farm animals, and with this single building we have already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attraction that we can add to our zoo. Let's check these cards here. We have small animal and architectural zoo. Architectural zoo is kind of the opposite that we want with native farm animals. But nonetheless, we don't know if we will have the option to build a full zoo, or maybe we should aim for a smaller zoo with native farm animals. Even though the icon here is not doing anything for us, I believe native farm animals with sponsors on 4 is pretty decent, considering that we have small animals. The alpaca, or even every pet, is getting a little better in our hands. So the raccoon and alpaca and native farm animals are mandatory to me. And then the aquarium would be nice to fit in for architectural zoo. For native farm animals, it's quite of the opposite again what we want to do in our zoo. And you have to have in mind that you need 3 reputation. You get 3 reputations 2 ways on this zoo. You either get the reputation university here, that gives you exactly 3 reputation right away, but our opponent is on is beginning the game, he's starting player, and he already has the option to take a university of his choice. And usually if you play against stronger players, you will see that those players almost always take the reputation university because it has so much value for the reputation you get, for one, and for two, the icon, the science icon, makes it possible to play certain animals and certain sponsors, as we will also see in this game. But so much for the spoiler. Let's check what Threat Pacifist did here. I will do it move by move. It's a lot of clicking, but it's a little better because I can just have a break if I feel I have to say something for that. So let's start. So he went for this choice. He didn't go for the petting zoo animal, and he went for the aquarium. Architectural zoo is usually a good choice if you have lots of sponsors, but in this case with native farm animals, I think it's a better choice to go for small animals. But I said that already. But that is what Threat does. He's speculating on getting 3 reputation to get the aquarium down. So let's see if that is going to work. We have New Zealand fur seal here and Blue Mountains National Park, which is a good synergy here. We can do it, play both of these predators, play predators, the base project, and then get rid of the New Zealand fur seal, get the 5 size enclosure back free, and get some reputation and nice 5 conservation points out of it. That's great, but we also have expert on the Americas here, which is a very strong card in general because you get free kiosks. Well, is it kiosk? Yeah, it's kiosk even in English. And it has the American icon. We already have an American icon, so it's not that good here, but considering that I would have gone for the petting zoo, we would have had the perfect petting zoo with the option for, if you imagine this enclosure here, we would have had top left, bottom, and top right 3 options for a kiosk. So that alone is a good enough reason to go for the expert on Americas. But again, it's also a habitat icon, so it's probably a pick we should consider here. But since we didn't go for the petting zoo animal, Threat was hoping to get the aquarium down, so let's see how that goes. Our opponent is taking university as expected, but that's bad for our situation here. And Threat is deciding to snap a card and takes Blue Mountains National Park. I think that is rather bad because we already have the reputation to grab it here from the board, and we intend to play a 5 size enclosure on stone and water, so we already have an incentive to build it right here on the right side. I'm not sure if you can see, yeah, it should be visible, my mouse icon here. So we already could have gone this way. And now that we know that our opponent went for the university, the only other way to get to the 3 reputation is to get the 5 card university and grab that spot down here for the extra reputation to make the aquarium work. So to make that all work, it's a bit tricky to play. So we should probably aim for a quick break here instead of playing our hand and just take, well, we should build a 1 size enclosure here for the raccoon probably, and then take the university and go 5 for a break. That would already be a decent play, but let's see how Threat goes. Another strong sponsor here that comes up, Archaeologist, is on that map, on every map where you can grab extra reputation from the board. It's particularly strong, and 5 cash is also very strong, especially early in the game. So But we don't have the science icon here, so that again is why good players almost always go for the reputation university to have the science icons for other cards. Okay, I think I can speed it up here a little. Our opponent plays a sponsor and has the biggest sponsor in the game for early plays, or one of the biggest, you might say. He got extra reputation from every science icon, and we already have 3 more science icons here in the center. Again, that is why I would have chosen to wait on the card action, because we might need to block something here, like the expert on Americas or the Science Institute, or whatever comes up. And again, we could have grabbed that from the board. Okay, so Fred decides to build a one-size enclosure, but I wonder what his reasoning is behind this here. Of course, you could see the aquarium that is around that here. That would be perfectly fine if we had the reputation, but we don't have the reputation, so I believe he might have missed the what you have to have before you build something. I'm missing the word for it right now, but yeah, you have to have free reputation, and Fred is not going to have it if he's starting building up there. So you already kind of dig his own grave here. So he can play the raccoon, and I think the raccoon has the ability to move association up rather than down. In our case, we probably want to build it down. And this is also something good players tend to do more often than weaker players. Bubbles didn't even blink on the build action here. He could have upgraded the build section to move on through here. He went directly into the upgraded sponsors to play sponsors from the board, like the Science Institute here. He can directly play it since sponsors is +1 on your strength, and Threat can't block it. So Science Institute is another 2 reputation because of the spokesperson, and he's also already pretty close to another worker that he might already grab in the first round before the first break. Thread is taking the other university as expected, and Bubbles is doing as expected, taking his sponsors here. Also, you should know that on Hollywood Hills you should almost always, in almost every game you play, you should upgrade sponsors in the Hollywood Hills, because the ability of Hollywood Hills, once you build on all these 3 H's here, you can, every sponsor in your hand on the board is downgraded by 1 strength. So native farm animals would cost 4, the expert in the Americas would cost 3, for example, and this applies to pay with money. So if you have to pay a card from your hand with money, then you would only pay 4 instead of 5 here, for example. And the upgraded sponsors not only allows you to play sponsors sooner, you also, because every sponsor is cheaper, you can play more of them at once. So I played once 4 sponsors in 1 action, and that was even with 1 single X token. So that is why the upgraded sponsors, because you get extra sponsors from the board here, has so much value. And our opponent already made good use of it, so he for sure had a strong start. And it was a start that he could count on. So since Thread decided to use his card action, he knew that he would get the extra science card here, the Science Institute. There was basically no doubt that this line would work. This is also why you should always be aware that your actions are a threat to other people's or your opponent's actions. That goes most of the time. That applies to sponsors, because with sponsors 5 you can move the break token 5 steps, which is standard move, you might say, if you don't have a good sponsor, but which is also a very good move if you have a good sponsor. Like native farm animals is a good sponsor just in general, and I expect him to play native farm animals just right now for 2 reputation. Let's see if he does that. Oh no, that's good. He goes for the break line. I like that. We need a break soon to get the aquarium down, and we need to somehow get out of that hole we digged us in here. The aquarium would do that. It was just do that here, and then we are in the range to build a 5-size enclosure for a New Zealand fur seal. So that is okay. Bubbles is afraid of losing animal value here from our card action. That is why he's playing the Australian Dingo right away to at least get 4 attraction out of it. The first 4 attraction is very valuable. You increase your income by 4, so the animal is decreased by 4, you might say. And if you don't intend to play the partner zoo here, then this is always the play you should aim for. And again, he has sponsors on 2 now, and has expert on the Americas in his range, which is also playable from the board again, and he can use the card action to maybe snipe the archaeologist. But let's see how the game goes on. We are playing the raccoon, and we move it up, which is fine. Bubbles is using the card action and snaps. Okay, that's fine. It's probably better to have it safe, rather safe than sorry. Here, and archaeologist you can play from there. Archaeologist is a good card in general, but if you already have the reputation, if you already build on the reputation part, then all the other spots are pretty far away. So archaeologist is rather a mid to late game play now for our opponents, which is why archaeologist is not that good anymore. And he's probably not sure, I'm saying he all the time, but they probably, they can't be sure that their zoo is going to fill up. So the extra conservation point you get from archaeologists is also rather unsafe. I'd say it's rather less likely, because he started only with a 2-size enclosure and didn't build anything else. Which is why I believe both players won't be able to fill up their map right now. But let's see how Fred decides to move on. Obviously he goes for the extra reputation, and he decides to upgrade animals right away to play the New Zealand fur seal probably, but I'm not sure if we are going to be able to do that. Bubbles also takes the upgraded university, but he already has the reputation upgrade, so he only gets 1 upgrade now. And another worker without having to use this, the conservation project. So Fred is now snapping a card. So let's see, what card would we snap here? There's not much. There's not much. We might think about medical breakthrough, because medical breakthrough is already in range for our opponent, and is probably like most games tend to have 4 breaks, so the medical breakthrough is now 9 points and a reputation for our opponent, so it's already a good block, but our hand is rather dead, so and we are very far away from medical breakthrough. So I believe we should either go for the slow worm here to have an extra habitat that we can play pretty cheaply, or we should go for 3 cards from the deck. Let's see what Fred does. Okay, he goes for the blocking line. We missed the Leo. Well, that's not a big shame. Our opponent draws the engineer from the deck. That is quite nice. So now with engineer, they might be able to fill up the board. Wow, he draws explorer from there. That's very strong. 2 very strong cards, or can be very strong. And he decides to go all the way, just build it through, just get it done, just get the ages as fast as possible down and play all your sponsors at one. So I believe Bubbles will probably even play another build action here, or maybe he's, I think, going for the build action. You could use an X token on the animals to have a kiosk and the pavilion, but well, he's probably doing that before playing more of his sponsors, because all of them get cheaper. But let's see what Fred does next. We don't have an X token, so again we can't play the aquarium. We want to play a 5-size enclosure, so we probably just X the animal card here. I don't see how we would move on. Okay, he wants to play the animal for the extra reputation. I've briefly forgot about that, so it makes sense to get the X token from there. But already this line is losing plenty of value because you have to use an extra action to make it work, which again is why playing around this aquarium or making this line work and then playing native farm animals for this here is probably already the reason why we will lose this game. Our opponent is having tempo on almost everything. He also has the Blue Mountains National Park Australian Dingo here, which is 6 points, and 6 points out of a conservation project is basically what you can expect from it, from something from a release project. Exactly, that's what in English. What's in English? So let's see how that goes. Yeah, there's no surprise. He wins. He's not doing the kiosk key. He goes for the pavilion instead, the extra victory point, and the extra victory point is doing nothing here in that case. So I wonder why he's not building a kiosk instead. But doesn't matter. On now, he built on all his ages, so the sponsors are very cheap to play now for our opponent. And he drew now Sea Turtle Tank. Not the best card in the deck, but he has 6 cards now in hand. We know 3 of them. Maybe he has 2 cards that he is able to sell, which you should always do if you build the Sea Turtle Tank. We are now playing the aquarium on the obvious spot here for 5 cash and a card in our reputation range. Yeah, again, I would go for the slow worm, but maybe archaeologist is okay for us. We have an X token in range, but he goes now for the slow worm. It is another icon, and there's Africa. So now we have 4 icons in range. Let's see. Bubbles increasing his strength by 1, so he plays Expert on the Americas for 3 and can still play the Explorer, which is probably what... that is why he's not building a kiosk, he's getting the kiosk there. Yeah, that's a pretty obvious reason why he's not doing the pavilion. Alright, so now he already has lots of good sponsors down. He's pretty far ahead in reputation, and we are struggling to catch up and are doing now. I wonder if he's going for the X token or is going for the H. I think I would prefer the X token here because the enclosure will be free again. So it's better to have an enclosure where you can play animals like the dugong or the predator, which needs 2 aqua tiles next to it. This is why I probably would go for that instead of the getting sponsors here. Let's see what Thread does. Plays it for the sponsor and gets breeding corporation. Well, that does nothing for us because we don't have partner zoos. Yeah, I agree. Fred said he dislikes the Hollywood Hills because of the randomness of the sponsor cards, and I agree, you can get very good sponsors out of it and very bad sponsors, but with a different line, if we went for partner zoos here, because we have habitat diversity here, breeding corporation would have gotten us a pretty strong start. But again, that's not what we did, and breeding corporation in our situation is certainly bad for us. Bubbles uses his worker now to get Asia. Asia is the one we need definitely, or most definitely this game, and I would already almost always go for Asia, but you can see or listen to me saying that in the partners video, but it's in German. Thread is upgrading the build action next and plays the New Zealand fur, gets 2 from the aquarium, gains a new association worker, which is nice, and can play the slow worm here. We are out of cash. And maybe already not going for the upgraded sponsors is already a mistake here. If we upgraded sponsors, then native farm animals is faster in play, and we probably want to use the predator after we use cards. Well, then we can upgrade it again. Doesn't matter, probably. Bubbles axis is, and we even, that's interesting. I would always dig for more cards in our position. Our hand is so weak, we need cards to decide the game here. Using an X token is probably a losing move again. Bubbles playing Sea Turtle Tank, plays it here, draws a card from deck, and take the Indian Cobra. Gets his rewards from the Explorer for the reptile icon. Now we will play Predators. I think I can speed it up here. I will go to endgame. We upgrade cards. That's interesting because he decided to not use his card action. That is pretty standard move here as well from Bubbles. We are now getting our value from native farm animals, which is fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 is a pretty good reward, and the chance to have a free board at the end. We have 10 cash here, so we dig, we get basic research, which we can't play right now, and we are aiming, we're not aiming for the H here, which is, well, I would always aim for it. And now we are in a position where we are struggling to make use of or make efficient use of our actions, because we have animals, we don't want to axe animals here, we don't have a worker now, we can't use it. So we now dig for cards. We have another animal we didn't get a new habitats in our hand, so he decides to get rid of the rest of the cards here. It's a pretty obvious choice. Okay. And our opponent, that we missed that, our opponent played Science Lab before the next break. Another strong, very strong card, and they already have 5 icons, so it's pretty trivial to get full value out of Science Lab. He already got 2 cards out of it. Probably the rock monitor here with the, why isn't it displaying it? Rock monitor is a reptile with African icon, so that's probably the last icon he needed for the habitat diversity. We have 2 icons, they have 3. Again, because of the American icon here. So that's probably all they needed to fill up the map. So they probably will just go for another university. And then probably before the break, we'll make use of their 5 conservation, 5 habitats. Let's see how the game goes on. We definitely already are ahead in the game. Yes, we are 20 or 21 points ahead, but our opponent has a few free enclosures here, has a lot of sponsors on the ground already. Here he scores from the Explorer, that's at least 5 more points. Science Lab is another 6 points you can expect. This is another 3 points you can expect. So this one is probably another 3 points. So that's already 8 plus 9, 17 points. And he Bubbles has more enclosures, and I'd say the better position here, even if they are ahead and behind in points right now. So we have a pretty clear path here to Blue Mountains National Park. It's a bit sad that our opponent has the Australian dingo, and but Savannah is here, so Savannah is probably also pretty nice. He's not going for the university, he wants another upgrade, that makes sense. Goes for Europe, that's the last missing tile here if he's not having if he's not having the Europe icon, then definitely that's the best play here. Bubbles decides to build no more kiosks and no more pavilion, and just goes for more enclosures to play. We play our slow worm, and let's see what we dig. I wonder what we dig here. Okay, he decides to dig his own hand, which is reasonable. I would also decide to do that. Yep, I probably would have done the same here. Although in the raccoon is an animal you can get rid of, but it's not the best one. It's only one size enclosure, so yeah, I think that's fine. Let's speed it up a little again. Bubbles plays the rock monitor he drew from Science Lab, gets his rewards from Explorer, and now has 5 tiles, 3 X tokens, and we X our card, that is again something I don't understand, why we X our build action here, because we don't have enclosures. We need enclosures to win the game. And our opponent plays again 2 decent cards here. That's what you should do. Let's have a break again. This is exactly what you should do on this map. Sorry that I'm breaking it up here in the center. You should always try to make the best use out of what the map does for you. And in this case you get sponsors, and you get more sponsors to play, and you should play them. Even though the engineer might not be we might not fill the game here, or we might not fill up the map here, that doesn't matter. The engineer also has the power to build more pavilions or to fill in gaps you couldn't fill without X tokens, so the engineer is pretty strong. And you can just play it, you don't have to play it as one card, you can just play it as a second card right away here. So these cost usually 7, but they're both reduced by 1, so they cost 5, and you can play this with your sponsors on position 3 already. 4 already, I'm sorry. This time Bubbles uses an X token to not only get the rewards here, he's also doing that action to have it sooner up the ladder again. So I'll go to endgame again. He's not using the double token. He's taking the 3 cards, which is pretty interesting, by the way, because he could have just used his card action twice. And now here, see where we are. We are taking our paddings, our padding zoo is probably coming up because it's our way out. And yeah, he's in a position now where he gets very strong sponsors. That's true. Grabbed it there. We now have to decide what to go for. We have 3 down. I don't see us either, so keeping small animal is fine. We are also not going for the double token. We are cash poor. He thinks I would have probably used the double token. We can't be hypnotized because we are behind. Oh no, we can get hypnotized because we are ahead. What am I talking here? So our opponent boosts with Sloth Bear, but in this case he boosts it back. And now here we are. Adventure Playground is not that strong. Late in the game, it's okay, it's fine, but with a small animal zoo and native farm animals in play, there might be, it might cost us a point. That might cost us 3 points to play it. European Bison is interesting if you have the partner zoo. Now we are playing only 1 pet because we can't afford to play more. Bubbles is using the engineer to fill up his kiosks. Seems to be confident. I would be confident in their position to win the game, but I'd probably build a kiosk here just to be safe on the extra 3 conservation points you get from the kiosks. Playing expert in herbivores too. We have everything for the giant panda, so we probably should aim to play the panda. We have all the icons. This is, oh, I have to make a break here. Why isn't it breaking? Break. Okay, now it's a break. This is something you should think twice about. For one, the golden eagle is one of the best animals in the game because it gives you an additional action. But I mean, we have the enclosure to play it. These are the upside things from our position, because we have Blue Mountains National Park. We can get rid of the fur seal and then play the golden eagle into it. We should probably do that, but it costs us a full action and full value of 4 cards from the deck, which we can't get now from the golden eagle snapping action. This is always something you should consider. if you snap one card, you don't see 3 additional cards. Your opponent doesn't know the cards. That is also an upside. So grabbing the golden eagle here is, or snapping the golden eagle here is probably not a good thing to do. I would always hope to snap it from the deck, but now our game seems lost anyways. And our opponent also is in a position where he needs to build a 5-size enclosure to make the golden eagle work, so I'm not sure that is something our opponent would aim to do. So he's probably happy that we used another action for something we might never play this game. Okay, moving forward. We are missing a science icon to play the boa constrictor. He's now playing that to use the clever effect. I would never use the clever effect on my association action, because association actions have so much value here. We need association action on 5 now to make the Blue Mountains National Park work. But I believe Threat Pacifist already gave up at this point, at this stage of the game, already decided, oh wow, he found the large animal program, so it was trivial to build a 5-size enclosure. Yeah, Bubbles certainly found very, very nice sponsors, but he also played his hand, or their hand. I can't get rid of my male thinking here. He's making good use out of his position, their position. And now they found the Siberian Tiger from the action here from the Science Lab. Draw 1 card in Reputation range, and yeah, and this is the 4th, the Wolf. This is a very strong, looking like finishing move. We are deciding now to build. This is not necessary. We could have just used the Blue Mountains and build a 3-size enclosure for the giant panda. Side entrance. Well, we are not going to play side entrance. Diversity researcher is... I'm not sure why Bubbles does that. Ah, he also he also has science museum, so yeah. Okay, diversity researcher is just basically 4 points, because they already maxed out their reputation. Now we play our pets here. Probably would have gone for the golden eagle there right away, just to get tempo to play it, to play our project here. We're not completely lost, but yeah, at this stage of the game we are now points behind. We are behind in sponsors, so we definitely lost the game here. But at this point of the game, it doesn't really matter what you do. Yeah, take an extra money, get another X here, get some points, take another cash. No, we can't. No. Do we have another? No, doesn't really matter. Giant panda. Use the X tokens on that. I think with giant panda in hand, he should have... Oh, we couldn't play it. Yeah, never mind. This stage of the game was obviously lost, and this was Threat Pacifist's view to this game. I think our opponent played very, very decently here. with favorite zoo in hand, it's quite obvious. It's a very nice start. It's a bit busted. He had a very strong game here, and the game ended in, we don't see statistics, but it was a fairly fast game, so I'd say something like 32 actions maybe. Almost never our opponent played one sponsor at a time. They almost always play 2 sponsors or more at a time, which is what you should do again on that map here. Starting off with spokesperson and favorite zoo in hand is pretty busted, because they were in a starting position where they could get the university they needed for that, and then didn't fall for a common mistake and upgrade the build action, but upgraded the sponsor action. And here they are actually. They don't have the 5th kiosk for the expert in America. So if they had gone for 1 additional kiosk, say right here or right there, would have gotten them to 5 kiosks to get the additional point out of that. So it's a small mistake here. It didn't matter in the end because they were so far ahead, but that's something you should always have in mind. Try to get the brown powers, try to get the final scoring points out of your sponsor cards. We didn't have sponsor cards. We played the aquarium now here for the amazing 6 points return here, which is not what we wanted to do. Oh, we had 8 points, don't mind me. The first seal also had a water icon, so it was 8 points for sponsors, but we played around the aquarium all game, or at the start of the game, and if you play around the sponsor card, you almost always are on a losing position here, especially if it's just an aquarium. And our zoo has now, 5, 7, 9. Not going for. He's not playing here the adventure playground and goes for a 3 size enclosure instead of that one here. We get 1 additional conservation point out of this native farm animals card here. I agree that this game was probably close to be unwinnable, but the line we used, or the line we chose at the beginning of the game, sealed this, I'd say. I'm not sure how the game would have gone if we would have started right here at the reputation start, get the university, get the extra reputation, and then build the aquarium right away, and not use the card action to get up this Blue Mountains National Park, and on the other hand just play the aquarium here. Maybe you build 1 size action here and then play the aquarium right here to grab up the card. I'm not sure if you have to build a 2 size enclosure, but that's what you have to do then. And grab the extra card from the aquarium if you choose to do this line. But starting up here probably also cost us too much tempo this game. So this is my insight in this game thread. If you have watched this, I think you could have gotten something more value out of your starting hand here, and that you went for a petting zoo late in the game also is quite ironic, because you could have started with the petting zoo right away. Hopefully you could have gotten you got something out of this video here. Hopefully you liked it, and if so, leave a thumbs up, and I say thanks for watching and catch you next time.